Every few weeks when I look at the news, it seems there's another new planet that's a little bit like Earth. So, are there actual distant Earth-like planets out there?
Probably.
Probably.
Yeah.
Why only probably?
So the reason you hear me hesitating so much is it's super exciting. I remember when I was a kid, people talked about if there are planets around other stars, which we don't know if there are. Maybe planets are rare, maybe they're weird. Now we know there are planets around basically every star. In fact, now we're pretty sure there are more planets in the Milky Way than there are stars. But the things that we call Earth-like planets are sort of limited by our ability to see these planets. We have only just started finding exoplanets. The first exoplanets were found in the 1990s. And so what we know about these planets is still pretty rudimentary. When we talk about Earth-like planets, usually we're just talking about two things. We're talking about the size of the planet and how far it is from its sun. If you have something a lot bigger than the Earth, it's probably not very much like Earth. It's probably like the gas giants. So you want an Earth-like planet, you want it to be smallish like Earth. And our ability to find planets that small has only, we weren't really able to do that until relatively recently. And we also want to know how far away it is from the star, because, you could have a planet the size of Earth, but if it's as far from its star as, say, Neptune is from our sun, then it's not Earth-like, it's a frozen ball of stuff. And so what you hear a lot about is this thing, the habitable zone, the distance from the star where you could have liquid water.
Obviously, liquid water is key to life, right?
Yeah, there could be life that doesn't depend on liquid water, but we definitely know that there is life that does depend on liquid water. Yeah, so the habitable zone is where you're far enough away from the star that the water wouldn't be a gas, and you're close enough in that the water wouldn't be ice. So when you hear about somebody finding an Earth-like planet, usually what that means is they found a planet about the size of Earth in the habitable zone of its star, but there's a lot of other stuff that makes a planet like Earth.
Like what?
So, for example, there's this planet that they found around Proxima Centauri, right? Proxima Centauri is the closest star to our solar system other than our own star, the Sun. It's 4 light years and change away. Proxima Centauri is one of these dim red stars, a red dwarf, and so that means that its habitable zone is way closer in. So, we're pretty far from our star, and so we have a year that's about 365 days, and we're in the habitable zone. This planet in the habitable zone of Proxima Centauri, because the habitable zone is so much closer in, it has a year that's about 11 days long.
So it's really nothing like our Earth then?
Well, it could be like our Earth, but the thing is, because it's so close in, it's almost certainly what's called tidally locked. What that means is that one side of the planet always faces the star, which means that probably one side of it is quite hot and the other side is quite cool, unless it has a thick atmosphere. We don't know if it has a thick atmosphere. It might not have any atmosphere, in which case it's definitely nothing like Earth. We have a nice atmosphere.
How many could there be of these Earth-like planets, given what we do know about them?
Just if you say an Earth-like planet is a planet in the habitable zone that's about the size of Earth, there could be 20 billion of them in the Milky Way alone.
Okay, so there's not like 5 candidates you're looking at. But the caveat is they need to have an atmosphere that makes it conducive to life.
Yeah, they need to have an atmosphere. There needs to not be some other problem. I don't know, we could cook up all sorts of things that could make a planet that's at the right distance and the right size still not habitable. It could have an atmosphere, but maybe just doesn't have any water. Maybe, it's lacking some other thing that's vital for life. We don't even know what is vital for life.
But there are so many unknowns when we talk about them. So how will we learn more about these planets?
Well, the good news is, hopefully in late 2018, NASA will be launching the James Webb Space Telescope, the successor to Hubble. One of the things that Webb is going to be able to do, it will actually be able to give us information about the atmospheres of exoplanets, planets outside of our solar system, and it will be able to tell us what is in those atmospheres. And that could not just tell us whether a planet is suitable for life. That could actually tell us almost for sure whether or not a planet has life, because there are some things in our atmosphere, for example, that would be very hard to explain without the presence of life, because oxygen reacts with so much. It's so chemically active that without life, you would expect it to get sort of locked up in rocks and stuff like that. And that is, in fact, what the atmosphere of Earth was like before we had life. The fact that we have so much oxygen in our atmosphere is a direct product of life on Earth. I mean, it could be amazing. James Webb could be something that gives us a smoking gun, or close to it at least, for life on other planets.